what George Kittle would say, welcome to 49ers press coverage. I am your host, Scott Cassinerio, and this is my sidekick, Spike. Spike, say hello to all the fans at home. Alrighty, well, he was great in rehearsal, I promise you that. Anyway, welcome to the first ever 49ers press coverage YouTube video. Before we get to today's subject, I'd like to take time to thank our sponsor for today's episode, and that is Judy Avero Artwork at judyavero.com. Go check it out now. If you would like to know how to sponsor one of our episodes, DM me on my TikTok page at 49ers press coverage. Also, while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and like this video. You know the drill. Alright, I think we're ready for today's subject. I just need the stamp of approval from two people. Spike, are we ready for the subject? You're fired. Mike McGlinchey, are we ready? Let's do it. So since this is the first episode I'm doing on YouTube and it's the month of May, we have a lot of catching up to do. So I thought the first episode subject should be about the 49ers offseason as a whole. So let's start from the beginning. At the beginning of free agency, the 49ers had $23 million under the cap, but they had 41 free agents. So all Niner fans were saying, how are they going to do this? Well, the 49ers front office worked their magic. They restructured a couple contracts, backloaded some other contracts, and because of all this, the 49ers still have $18 million under the cap. They've only spent technically $5 million for this season. And after they signed their draft picks, they're rumored to have around $9 million to work with still. The 49ers improved their offensive line this offseason by re-signing Trent Williams and Daniel Brunskill. The 49ers also brought in a veteran presence and former Pro Bowler at center, Alex Mack. They then added depth at the guard position through the draft. If you include George Kittle as part of this offensive line, the 49ers have put themselves in position to possibly bully some opponents up front. They re-signed Ross Dwelley to add some tight end depth, and they re-signed Jeff Wilson Jr. to add some running back depth, and then of course they added Gallman and then drafted two running backs. We could do a whole story on Trey Lance, but adding Trey Lance gives the 49ers depth at the QB position and a great future. I'm excited for things to come there, but I am a bit nervous about this season. He better be ready to play in case Garoppolo gets hurt, but I do like the fact that if Garoppolo does get hurt, it'll be Trey Lance at quarterback and not Nick Mullins or CJ Beathard. On defense, the 49ers bolstered their depth at the defensive line, and they're also going to see the return of Nick Bosa. Let's hope he stays healthy. And they added tons of competition at the cornerback and safety positions. But there are a few question marks still about this roster, like did they do enough at the cornerback position, and who's going to be the number 3 wide receiver? In the future, I will do episodes on position by position breakdown. And I quickly want to add one more question mark. How will DeMeco Ryans do as the new defensive coordinator? I personally think he's going to do great, but a new job is a new job. So obviously a lot of things happened this offseason with the 49ers, and it's hard to break down exactly which move they did was the best one. For me, it's between two transactions, the re-signing of Kyle Juszczyk and the re-signing of Trent Williams. But there is a third option, and it's either going to be the greatest move they may have ever made in their franchise's history, or one of the worst of all time, and that is trading up for quarterback Trey Lance. I did an interview earlier with @49er Territory on TikTok. Check out the page, incredible hype videos of the San Francisco 49ers. I asked what was the 49ers' best transaction of this offseason, and @49er Territory said this. The Niners' best transaction was picking up a big contract for Trent Williams. He is one of the best left tackles in the NFL and really talented. And I have to agree, not only is he the blind side to Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance in the future, he's one of the best left tackles in the game. Now, outside people will say, hey, he's 33 years old and he got a 6-year contract. But that 6-year contract is really just a 3-year contract. And by year 4, the Niners can decline his last 3 years and pay him no guaranteed money. So it's really just a 3-year deal. Plus, he's only $8 million against the cap this season. He is over $20 million against the cap next season, but the salary cap is going to go up by $20 million. At least that's the projection. So the 49ers should be in good shape there. And please go follow @Brandon_Ayuk LOL on TikTok. I asked him what the 49ers' biggest weakness is still, and he said the cornerback position. But he broke down the situation very well, basically stating that although it is the 49ers' biggest weakness, there are some positives there. To follow that up, some people would say the 49ers' uncertainty at the number 3 and 4 wide receiver could be their biggest weakness. But to me, the 49ers' wide receiver core and their cornerbacks are equally kind of the weakest part on the team. Luckily, the 49ers already have a number 1 and 2 receiver with Debo and Ayuk. They also have Kittle, Dwelley, Mostert, Gallman, Wilson, Juszczyk, all these weapons they can throw to. But the concerning part is Richie James really ready to be a number 3 wide receiver? I think he can definitely be a number 4. Can Jalen Hurts stay healthy? If healthy, I believe he can be a number 3 wide receiver. Will Juan Jennings be healthy? There's tons of question marks for the 49ers when it comes to who's their number 3, 4, and 5 wide receiver, so that is concerning. And then there's cornerback. I believe the biggest concern there is health. Jason Verrett has had an injury-prone career, but last year worked out well for him and the 49ers. Mosley, early on in his career, has missed some games here and there, and K'Waun Williams seems to miss half the games every season. And the 49ers have been in talks with Richard Sherman, who, of course, in recent years has been injured quite often. And, speaking of injuries, and Richard Sherman has said that Tim Harris could be one of the top DBs in this league if he could ever stay healthy. Tim Harris is my dark horse to have a breakout year, so Niner fans, look out for him if he's healthy. But here's something positive that I thought about when it comes to the 49ers cornerbacks. In 2019, the 49ers had Richard Sherman and Mosley starting at corner. They also had K'Waun Williams in the slot, and Weatherspoon, who started but mostly backed up due to his struggles. And that team made the Super Bowl. This season, Jason Verrett and Mosley are going to start at corner, and to me, that's an upgrade. K'Waun Williams is still there at the slot corner, and guys like rookie Ambry Thomas and Tim Harris can battle it out for the number 4 and 5 spot. So whether the Niners bring back Sherman or not, I think this year's DB group is a little deeper and a little better than the 2019 group, if healthy. The biggest advantage the 2019 group had was the 49ers pass rush. So with the addition of Ebukam, the return of Bosa, an improved Kinlaw, and a DJ Jones will 1, take the pressure off Armstead so he won't be double teamed as much, and 2, will help out our DBs as the pass rush will make the quarterback throw the ball before he wants to. Alright, before we move on to the next part of the show, I want to let you know that Spike is still here. He did not get fired. Apparently, I can't do that. My producer let me know that that is discrimination against lizards of color and species that have tails. What a time we live in. Anyway, on to the next part of the show, which is called Today's 49er Updates. Now it's time for our next segment called 49ers Did You Know? Did you know that the Catch 2, and the Catch 3 all had some very, very interesting side stories? After Dwight Clark made what is now known as the Catch in a January 1982 NFC Championship game, the Cowboys got the ball back with under a minute to go, and they nearly won the game, but 49ers DB Eric Wright made a game-saving tackle on wide receiver Drew Pearson. He pulled him down by the neck area and the shoulder pad, which nowadays is a horse collar. If horse collar existed back then, the Cowboys would have been in field goal range and they could have defeated the 49ers 30-28. Unfortunately for the Cowboys, the horse collar penalty didn't exist till 25 years later. Before Terrell Owens made the game-winning touchdown catch against the Green Bay Packers in a January 1999 NFC wildcard game, Jerry Rice caught an out pattern and fumbled the football. Unfortunately for Packer fans, Jerry Rice was called down by contact, and in that season there was no instant replay, so the Packers couldn't review it. Of course, everyone remembers Alex Smith hitting Vernon Davis for the game-winning touchdown in a January 2012 NFC divisional game against the New Orleans Saints. But did you know in the fourth quarter, those teams scored a combined 34 points, including 28 combined points in the last 4 minutes and 2 seconds? Now it's time for viewer questions of the day. Via TikTok, at I'm Calvin Johnson 81 asks, have you been to a Niners game, and if so, which one was your favorite game you went to? Not including preseason, I've been to 38 49er games since 97. Favorite one by far was the 2003 NFC wildcard game where the Niners came back from a 38-14 deficit to beat the New York Giants 39-38. My favorite 49er player of all time is Jerry Rice. If you'd like the chance to have one of your questions answered on the next video, then leave your question in the comment section below on this video. Well, that's our show. Thank you for joining us. Join us every Wednesday during the off-season and every Monday and Thursday during the regular season. My name is Scott Cassinerio. That is Spike. For Christ's sake. Thank you for joining 49ers Press Coverage.